The flames licked at the ceiling like hungry tongues, devouring the faded wallpaper of the living room where Wren had once carved her initials into the oak mantel as a defiant 8-year-old. Her lungs burned as she stumbled through the smoke. The metal box, cold and unyielding against her sweat-slicked chest, her only anchor in the chaos. "Not today," she rasped. The words a vow to the ghost of the woman who'd shattered her world, even as the roof groaned its final warning above her. Wren Harper had always been the quiet storm in the Harper family hurricane, the one who smiled through gritted teeth at Sunday dinners in their sprawling Victorian on Elm Street, in the heart of upstate New York's forgotten mill town of Milford. 28. With her auburn curls perpetually escaping a loose ponytail and green eyes that could pin you like a butterfly to a board, she worked as a freelance illustrator from the attic she'd turned into a makeshift studio. Her sketches filled the walls, ethereal women with wings of fire, lovers tangled in thorn vines, secrets blooming like nightshade under moonlight. But those were just lines on paper. Her real life, a meticulously curated lie, stitched together with half-truths and hurried goodbyes. It started 2 summers ago, on a sweltering July afternoon at the Milford County Fair. The air hummed with the sizzle of corn dogs and the twang of a bluegrass band, families milling about under strings of chili pepper lights like fireflies drunk on nostalgia. Wren was there sketching the Ferris wheel's lazy spin, capturing the way the sunset bled pink and gold across the Hudson Valley sky, when she collided literally with Alara Voss. Alara was 30, a high school English teacher who'd moved to Milford from Brooklyn the year before, trading concrete canyons for quiet rivers. She had that effortless city grace, shoulder-length chestnut hair that caught the light like polished mahogany, hazel eyes flecked with gold that seemed to see straight through your small-town armor, and a laugh that bubbled up like champagne, warm and intoxicating. She wore a sundress the color of ripe peaches, the kind that hugged her curves just enough to make Wren's pencil stutter across the page. "Sorry," Alara exclaimed, steadying Wren's sketchbook with one hand while the other brushed a stray curl from her forehead. Their fingers touched, brief, electric, and Wren felt it like a spark from one of her own drawings, igniting something dormant and dangerous. "I was too busy dodging cotton candy assassins." "You okay?" Wren managed a nod, her cheeks flushing hotter than the midway lights. "Yeah. Just." Immortalizing the chaos, she held up her sketch, the half-finished will a blur of motion. Alara leaned in, her scent, jasmine and fresh linen, wrapping around Wren like a secret invitation. "That's beautiful. Haunting. Even. Like the fair's hiding ghosts in the gears." She straightened, tilting her head. "I'm Alara. Local transplant. Still figuring out how to wave at tractors without looking like an idiot." "Wren," she replied, her voice steadier than her pulse. "Born and raised here. I can teach you the tractor wave if you buy me a lemonade." They did, 2 paper cups sticky with sugar, shared on a splintered bench overlooking the duck pond. Conversation flowed like the river beyond, Alara's tales of dodging subway rats in the city, Wren's dry wit about Milford's annual Pumpkin Fest fiasco, where Uncle Ray once faceplanted into the pie-eating contest. By the time the fireworks cracked open the night sky, Wren's sketchbook lay forgotten, replaced by the thrill of Alara's knee brushing hers. Accidental at first, then not. That night, under the willow tree by the pond, with the echoes of Sweet Caroline fading into cricket song, Alara kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative, like testing the weight of a forbidden word. Then deeper, hungrier, Alara's hands threading through Wren's hair, pulling her close until the world narrowed to the taste of lemonade, and the press of bodies yielding like clay. Wren's heart thundered. This was real. A revelation she'd buried under layers of someday, and somewhere else. But Milford wasn't somewhere else. It was her cage. Gilded with family expectations. Dad's stern Baptist sermons. Mom's ladies' auxiliary teas. Sister Lila's perfect engagement photos plastered across every fridge magnet. We can't, Wren whispered against Alara's lips, even as her body arched closer. Not here. Alara pulled back. Eyes searching. Then where? Tell me. Wren. I'm not one for half measures. They found there were in stolen fragments, late-night drives to the old quarry outside town, where the water gleamed black under stars, and they'd swim naked, laughing as they splashed like kids reclaiming Eden. Alara's apartment above the bookstore on Main Street became their sanctuary, bookshelves groaning under dog-eared Austen and Wolfe, the air thick with candle wax and whispered promises. Wren would arrive after dark, slipping through the back alley like a shadow, her illustrations evolving from solitary figures to intertwined souls, vines of ink binding them eternal. I love how you see the world, Alara murmured one October evening, tangled in sheets that smelled of rain in them. Rain pattered against the window panes, a soft percussion to their rhythm. Like it's all poetry waiting to be sketched. Wren traced the constellation of freckles across Alara's collarbone, her finger lingering. And you make me believe in the happy endings I never write, but happy endings were luxuries Milford didn't afford. Wren's family sensed the shift, the way she dodged questions about her late nights at the studio, the glow she couldn't quite scrub from her skin. Dad. Harlan. A retired mill foreman with hands like sandpaper and a Bible verse for every occasion, would narrow his eyes over his coffee. A woman's got no business wandering after dark. Wren Elizabeth. Devil finds work for idle hands. Mom. Beatrice. With her impeccable perms and her way of smoothing conflicts like frosting on a cake, would pat Wren's arm. We're just worried. Honey. Lila's settling down with Tom, white picket fence and all. When's your turn, Lila? The golden child at 25, with her dark curls and marketing degree from SUNY, laughed it off during their sisterly brunches at the diner. Ignore them, Wren. You're the free spirit. But seriously, who's this mystery guy making you smile like that? Spill. Wren's stomach twisted each time. No one. Just work. The lie tasted like ash. But the truth? It would shatter the fragile peace. Harlan had once caught a neighbor's son kissing another boy behind the hardware store, and preached fire and brimstone for a month. Beatrice volunteered at the church's family values bake sales. Lila, she was the bridge. The one who mediated. But even she parroted the party line when it suited. Alara understood. We're building something real, she'd say, her voice fierce as she pulled Wren into her arms. Someday, we'll tell them. Or we'll leave this town in the dust. Wren wanted to believe it. She did. In those quarry swims, with Alara's laughter echoing off the rocks, the future felt possible. A little craftsman in Portland or a loft in Austin, where love wasn't a dirty word. But winter crept in, frosting the windows and the edges of their stolen hours. Alara's tenure review loomed, tying her to Milford High. Wren's latest gig dried up, leaving her sketching for pennies. And then, the first crack appeared. It was Valentine's Day, or close enough, February 14th. Snow blanketing the town like a shroud. Alara had planned a surprise. A thermos of spiked hot chocolate, a blanket spread on the frozen pond, stars wheeling overhead like God's own disco ball. They lay there, wrapped in wool and each other, when Alara's phone buzzed. She silenced it at first, but it persisted. A third call that had her sighing into Ren's neck. "Work?" Ren asked, propping on an elbow. Alara hesitated, then sat up, snowflakes melting in her hair. "Lila. Your sister. She's persistent." Ren's blood chilled faster than the ice beneath them. Lila had been texting Alara for weeks. Book recs for the bridal shower. Help with English for Tom's proposal speech. Innocent enough. Or so Ren told herself. Alara was the cool aunt type. The one who volunteered at school events. But tonight, with the phone glowing like a betrayal in Alara's hand, Ren snatched it. The message. "Hey, Alara. Can't stop thinking about our chat last week. Tom's great. But you get me. Coffee soon. Hugs and kisses, Lila." Ren's vision tunneled. "What chat?" Alara reached for her. But Ren recoiled. "It was nothing." She came by the school, upset about cold feet. I listened. "That's all. With kisses." Ren hurled the phone into the snow, her voice cracking like thin ice. "God. Alara. She's my sister." The argument that followed was a blizzard of its own, accusations flying like flurries. Alara swearing it was one-sided. Ren's insecurities howling that she'd always known she was the rebound. The small-town experiment. They parted with slammed doors and silent miles, Ren driving home through tears that froze on her cheeks. Days blurred into a week of radio silence. Ren threw herself into work, her sketches turning jagged. Lovers now clawing at each other with thorned hands. Then, a knock at the attic door. Lila, bearing apology pie from Mom's kitchen. "Sis. I miss you," Lila said, setting the dish down. Her eyes wide and guileless. "You've been a ghost. What's eating you?" Ren wanted to scream at you. Her. The secret that's eating me alive. But she swallowed it, forcing a smile. "Just deadline stress." "Pie looks great." Lila lingered, chattering about wedding colors and venue drama. "Alara Voss helped me brainstorm centerpieces. She's a gem, so insightful. You two should hang out more. Balance out my Tom talk." Ren's fork bent in her grip. "Yeah. A real gem." That night, alone with her rage, Ren penned the letters. Not sketches, but words raw. Unfiltered confessions poured onto yellowed stationery from the family desk downstairs. To Alara, "I walked into this fire for you, even when it singed my edges. Don't make me burn alone." To Lila, "If you knew the half of it, you'd run." And to her family, unsent, "This is who I am. Love me or leave me to the ashes." She sealed them in the metal box, an old ammo tin from Dad's war stories, and hid it under the attic floorboards. A time capsule of truths too heavy to carry. Spring thawed the ice but not the rift. Alara cornered her at the farmer's market, under the awning of heirloom tomatoes. "We need to talk," she said, voice low. "Urgent." Ren crossed her arms, the crowd a blur. "Talk? Or explain why my sister's blowing up your phone?" Alara's face crumpled. "It's not what you think." Lila's lost. Ren. Tom's pressure cooking her into someone she's not. "I told her to figure it out. That's all. And you?" "The knight in shining sundress." Ren's laugh was bitter. I'm tired of being the fool in this fairy tale. Elara stepped closer, heedless of stares. You're not a fool. You're my everything. Give me a chance to prove it. Against her better judgment, Ren did. They rebuilt in whispers. A hand squeeze at the bookstore poetry reading. A midnight call where Elara read sonnets until Ren's doubts quieted. By summer's end, the box stayed buried, the letters yellowing like forgotten promises. Elara even met Lila for coffee, chaperoned by Ren's glare from across the street, and came back swearing boundaries were ironclad. But secrets, like roots, twist deeper. In September, as leaves turned crimson, Lila announced the wedding date. Halloween weekend, at the old mill-turn venue. It'll be magical, she gushed over family dinner, Tom's arm around her like a claim. Harlan beamed. Beatrice fussed over RSVPs. And Ren? She toasted with water, her smile a mask. That night, Elara showed up at the house, bold, uninvited, slipping through the backyard under harvest moon. They made love in the attic for the first time, the slanted ceiling pressing close like a conspirator, the floorboards creaking secrets. I want forever, Elara breathed, her fingers mapping Ren's scars like braille. Screw the town. After the wedding, we go public. Or we go. Ren clung to her. The words a lifeline. Promise. Cross my heart. But promises are paper in a fire. 2 weeks before the wedding, Ren found the first thread unraveling. A forgotten scarf, Elara's. Peach silk in Lila's car. Parked outside the school. Coincidence? Ren told herself. Borrowing it for a consult. Then the late nights. Lila rehearsing vows with Elara's help. Tom's fishing trips conveniently timed. Doubt festered like an untreated wound. Ren tailed them once. To the quarry of all places, their place. From the tree lean. She watched. Lila's head on Elara's shoulder. Hands intertwined. Words too soft to hear, but the intimacy a knife twist. Ren fled before the tears came. Straight to the attic. Clawing up the box. She burned one letter in the sink, Elara's, watching the ink curl black. A rehearsal for the end. The betrayal crystallized on the eve of the rehearsal dinner. Ren arrived early to the church hall. Floral arches mocking her with their permanence. Hiding in the coat room, she overheard Lila's voice, husky with wine. Elara, say you'll come away with me. After the wedding, when Tom's deployed, we could start over. Me. No more hiding. Elara's reply, a whisper that shattered worlds. I can't. I love her, Ren. But God. Lila. You make it so hard to remember why. Ren didn't wait for more. She slipped out. The night air a slap. Driving aimlessly until dawn painted the sky bloody. Home was a tomb, Harlan snoring. Beatrice's nightlight glowing. Lila's room empty of ghosts. Ren hauled the box to the backyard fire pit. Matches trembling in her hand. But she couldn't. Not yet. Instead, she confronted Elara at dawn. On her doorstep. Eyes hollow. It's over, Ren said. Voice steel. You chose wrong. Elara paled. Ren. Please, it was a mistake. Lila pushed. Faltered. But You faltered into my sister's arms. My family. Elara. The one wall I couldn't climb. Ren thrust the box at her. Half the letters ash. Half intact. Keep it. Or burn it. I don't care anymore. She left Alara sobbing on the stoop, the door clicking shut like a guillotine. The wedding loomed. A farce Wren attended in numb autopilot. Lace and lilies. Vows exchanged under stained glass that filtered light into lies. Lila radiant in white. Tom beaming. Harlan's toast to family first. Wren sat in the back, sketching the scene. A bride with horns. A groom with blinders, her heart a cinder. Weeks passed in a haze. Alara vanished, resigned from the school. Rumors of a city job. Lila honeymooned, blissfully unaware. Wren buried herself in commissions. Her art darker. Demanded. The box? Alara returned it via mail. Unopened. With a note. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. But I am. Then. The spark literal. November frost nipped the air when Harlan called from the hospital. House fire. Wren. Beatrice is safe. Lila and I got her out. But the attic. Everything. Wren raced the 30 miles. Heart in her throat. The Victorian loomed. A skeletal beast against the dawn. Firefighters dousing embers that hissed like accusations. Lila ran to her. Soot Street. Hugging fierce. We thought you were inside. The wiring old as sin. Beatrice wept in an ambulance blanket. Harlan's arm around her. Face carved with loss. Your studio. Kiddo. All those drawings. Wren's mind flashed to the box. Still under the boards. Untouched? Or fuel for the blaze? Smoke curled from the eaves. Mocking. I have to check, she said. Voice steady despite the quake. Wren. No. Lila grabbed her arm. It's not safe. But Wren was already moving. Shrugging off a fireman's warning. The heat of familiar lover's slap. She plunged through the side door. Acrid smoke clawing her eyes. Flames gnawing the banister. Up the stairs creaking. Buckling to the attic. The floorboards smoldered. Her easel a pyre of canvases. She dropped to knees. Prying the loose plank. Fingers blistering on nails. The box scorched but intact. A miracle in metal. She clutched it. Whispering. Not yours to find. To the lovers inked inside. To the family waiting below. As rafters cracked overhead. Wren turned and froze. In the corner. Flames lapped at a fallen beam. Revealing. Not her secret. But another's. A hidden panel in the wall. Ajar from the heat. Spilling yellowed envelopes. Photos faded sepia. Harlan's handwriting. Beatrice's younger face. Arms around a woman, not her mother. But someone else. Soft-featured. Dark-haired. Letters, my darling Ellie. In this town of shadows. You are my light. Meet me by the river. Wren's breath hitched. The family secret, Dad's hypocrisy. Mom's complicity in burying it. A love like hers. Smothered decades ago. The beam groaned. Wren bolted. Box under arm. Leaping the last stairs as the attic collapsed in a roar. Outside. Gasping fresh air. She collapsed into Lila's arms. You idiot, Lila sobbed. What were you saving? Wren met Harlan's eyes, stormy gray. Mirroring her own. Something that wasn't mine to lose. The aftermath was a symphony of chaos. Insurance adjusters and clipboards. Neighbors with casseroles that tasted like pity. The Harper Victorian reduced to a charred skeleton cordoned off with yellow tape. Wren moved into Lila and Tom's spare room. The box hidden in her duffel like a ticking bomb. Days blurred into therapy sessions Beatrice insisted on. Family healing, she called it. Her hands twisting a rosary that suddenly seemed less certain. Harlan retreated to his garage workshop, hammering nails into birdhouses he never finished. Lila fluttered like a moth. Wedding glow dimmed, snapping at Tom over burnt toast. Wren played the part, the brave daughter, sketching rebuild plans on napkins, her emerald eyes duller than before. But at night, the box whispered. She pored over the attic's unearthed trove, the letters from Ellie, Harlan's college sweetheart. Their love a clandestine dance through 70s Milford. When deviant was a scarlet letter and jobs hung on whispers. One photo Harlan, young and lanky, kissing Ellie's temple under the same willow at the fairgrounds. A note tucked in if they knew. Beatrice. They'd take everything. Marry me for cover? Beatrice had. The perfect wife. The church pillar. Bearing her husband's ghost to birth a family. Wren traced the faded ink. Fury and pity warring. How many lies to build this house of cards? Her own felt small by comparison, Ilara's betrayal a splinter. Not the beam propping up the roof. She confronted Beatrice first. Over chamomile in the hospital waiting room. The letters spread like evidence. Mom. This. Ellie. Why hide it? Beatrice's blue eyes, Wren's eyes, softened by years, welled. Your father loved her. Wren. Fiercely. But Milford. Choose up different. Ellie left for the city. Said she'd wait. She didn't. Harlan broke. I was the safe harbor. Her voice cracked. We built this life on forgiveness. Don't judge what you haven't lived. Wren's throat tightened. But you judged me. Without knowing, Beatrice reached. Tentative. What do you mean? Honey. The words hovered. Ash on her tongue. Nothing. Not yet. The box stayed sealed. Her letters to Ilara and Lila a private pyre. Lila noticed the fracture next. Cornering Wren in the kitchenette of their starter ranch. Tom was at the mill. The house smelling of Lysol and regret. You've been weird since the fire. Spaced out. Is it Ilara? Wren froze. Knife mid-chop on carrots for soup. What? Lila leaned on the counter. Curls escaping her ponytail. Face earnest. I know. Sis. About you two. I saw you that night at the quarry before the wedding. You. Her. It was beautiful. Why didn't you tell me? Betrayal's echo. Fresh and sharp. You saw? And said nothing. Lila winced. I was scared. For you. And selfish. Ilara and I. It was stupid, a crush. Rebound from Tom's pressure. She shut it down. Told me she loved you. I backed off. But after you two split, I thought. Maybe. Wren's knife clattered. Maybe what? Steal her? From your own sister. No. Lila's eyes flashed. I was lost. Wren. Tom proposed. And it felt like chains. Ilara listened. Made me feel seen. But it was never real. You and her, that was fire. I envied it. Envy. The word hung. A bridge or a noose. Wren sank into a chair. The steam from the pot curling like smoke signals. It burned me. Lila. Bad. Lila knelt. Taking her hands, callous from pencils. soft from office life. Then let it scar. But don't let it define you. Tell mom and dad. Or don't. But let me in. For the first time since the flames, Ren cried ugly, snotty sobs that shook the Formica table. Lila held her, rocking like when they were kids hiding from Harlan's belt after a spilled beer. I love you. Weirdo, Lila murmured. Queer or not. Always. The dam cracked. But Harlan loomed larger. Ren waited for a Sunday, post-church, when the Milltown's Baptist spire pierced a sky heavy with thunderheads. They sat on the garage steps, Harlan nursing a thermos of coffee black as his mood. Ren slid the letters across, Ellie's curse of a ghost. He didn't flinch. Just stared, knuckles whitening on the thermos. Found these. Huh. In the blaze. Yeah. Ren's voice steady. A artist's line. Why? Dad? Why preach against it when you lived it? Harlan's jaw worked. Storm clouds gathering in his eyes. Lived it? I buried it. Ren. Ellie was my sin, beautiful. Damning. Beatrice saved me from hellfire. This family, it's my redemption. Redemption built on lies. Ren leaned in, green eyes locking gray. I'm gay. Dad. Have been since I could name the ache. Alara. She was my Ellie. And I lost her to the same shadows you hid from. Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring. Thunder rumbled distant. A growl from the Hudson. Harlan's face crumpled, not anger, but grief, raw as exposed wiring. My girl, he rasped, pulling her into a bear hug that smelled of sawdust and regret. I didn't know. God help me. I didn't see. They sat there as rain began, pattering on the tin roof, washing sins downstream. Does Mom know? About me? Harlan nodded. Told her last night. She's processing. But she loves you. We all do. Ren exhaled, the box lighter in her lap. But closure? It itched like unfinished ink. Alara's silence since the fire was a void, pulling. One evening, after a shift at the temp agency, her illustrations on hold amid rebuilds, Ren drove to the Voss apartment. Vacant. A for lease sign swinging like a gallows. The bookstore owner, a wiry woman with cat eye glasses, confirmed. Alara lit out for Albany right after the blaze. Said something about ashes and second chances. Left this for you. A package, dog-eared copy of Mrs. Dalloway. Wolf Stream of Hidden Lives. Inside. A sketch Ren style. But Alara's hand, two women. One auburn. One chestnut. Walking hand in hand from a burning house toward a dawn river. Note. I walked away to let you breathe. But if there's air left for us, I'm here. Albany Arts Council. Find me. Ren's chest ached. A bloom of hope thorned with fear. She traced the lines. Her own heart rendered bare. The rebuild gathered steam. Community barbecues with potlucks under tents. Volunteers hammering joists while kids chase fireflies. Lila organized. Beatrice baked. Harlan directed with gruff thanks. Ren contributed sketches for the new blueprint, brighter windows. An attic studio with skylights for starlit confessions. One night, as beams rose like phoenix bones, Lila pulled her aside. Tom and I. We're separating. Quietly. I told him about the crush. The doubts. He gets it. Or tries. Ren hugged her fierce. You deserve your own fire. Sis. Not someone else's embers. Lila laughed. Watery. Speaking of, Mom wants to meet Alara. Officially. If you? The question lingered. A dare. Ren nodded. Pulse racing. Maybe. But fate. That capricious muse. Had other plans. A week before the frame-up party, a town hall bash to celebrate the Harpers' resilience, lightning struck the old oak in the front yard. The one Harlan carved hearts into with Ellie. Splintered. Taking a power line with it. Sparks flew. Igniting dry leaves. And the skeleton house blazed anew. Hotter. Hungrier. Sirens wailed as Ren sped home. Deja vu a chokehold. Fire trucks lined Elm. Hoses snaking like veins. Lila waved her down. Face pale. It's the East Wing wiring again. Everyone's out. But your stuff, the new sketches. Ren's blood roared. The attic half rebuilt. Her fresh portfolio inside. Visions of Alara penciled in margins. And the box? She'd left it there. A talisman on the windowsill. I have to, she said. Already running. Ren, Harlan bellowed. Beatrice clutching his arm. Not again. But she was gone. Ducking under tape. The heat a wall she shouldered through. Smoke billowed. Thicker this time. Acrid with fresh pine. Up the temporary stairs, plywood precarious, to the attic space. Lit by flickering hell. The portfolio smoldered in the corner. She stamped it out. Coughing. Stuffing pages into her shirt. Then the box, glowing cherry red on the sill. Letters peeking black. She snatched it. Fabric scorching her palms. And turned too slow. A beam. Weakened by the first fire. Gave way overhead. Crashing down in a shower of sparks. Pain exploded in her leg as it pinned her. Wood and nails biting deep. Ren screamed. Once. Raw Alara's name a curse and prayer. Outside. Chaos. Lila dialing 911 again. Harlan arguing with firefighters. Beatrice praying aloud. She's in there. My baby. The crew moved. But Ren's world narrowed to fire's roar and her own ragged breaths. Blood pooled warm. The box clutched like absolution. Visions flashed. Alara's laugh. Lila's hug. Harlan's tears. Not like this. She thought. Not silent. With a surge, adrenaline or ghost, she shoved the beam. Inching free. Leg a numb drag. Down the stairs. Each step a gamble. Flames nipping heels. The door yawned. She dove through. Rolling onto dew-kissed grass as the roof caved. Hands everywhere, medics. Family. Lila's sobs. You crazy bitch, she gasped. Cradling Ren's head. What for? Ren managed a grin through bloodied lips. Secrets. The ambulance ride was a blur of sirens and morphine haze. Harlan rode shotgun. Hand on hers. You saved more than paper. Kid. You saved us. At the ER. As Doc stitched and scanned, Beatrice unpacked the box, gentle, reverent. Letters spilled. Ren's to Alara. Raw with love and loss, to Lila. Forgiving the envy, to them. A coming out etched in firelight. And beneath, the old ones, Ellie's. Harlan's youth. Beatrice read aloud. Voice steady, my darling. In this life of half-lights, you are my full flame. Harlan nodded. Tears carving tracks. Full circle. Lila, curled by the bed, whispered, I'm proud. And sorry. For all of it. Recovery was a slow uncoiling. 2 weeks in the hospital. Leg in a cast like a plaster promise. Ren sketching one-handed on hospital trays. Her lines bolder. Unapologetic. The town rallied. Milford's quirky solidarity. With get-well cards from the diner waitress who'd always slipped her extra fries. A quilt from the ladies' auxiliary embroidered with phoenixes. Beatrice took charge. Fluffing pillows and sneaking contraband coffee. Her rosary now a talisman shared. Faith isn't blind. Ren, she'd say. Eyes soft. It's seeing the light in the dark. Harlan visited daily. Bringing tools instead of sermons. Whittling tiny birds from basswood. One for each regret. Ellie would have liked you, he admitted one afternoon. Rain sheeting the window. Feisty. Unbreakable. Because. Carving deeper. I was a coward. Preaching what I couldn't live. But you. You're braver than I ever was. Ren squeezed his hand. Calluses mirroring hers. We all hide. Dad. Question is, do we emerge? Lila crashed the most. Dragging Tom along, awkward but earnest. Bearing bad rom-coms and better apologies. Their separation was amicable. A pause for air. He even joined a book club Alara recommended. Cracking jokes about finding his inner wolf. Lila. Unshackled. Bloomed. Chopping her curls into a pixie. Enrolling in night classes for graphic design. Sisters in ink, she teased. Stealing Ren's markers to doodle hearts on the cast. But the box's contents lingered. A catalyst. The family held a ritual, not church, but backyard. Under the lightning-scarred oak stump. They burned the old letters. Harlan first. To Ellie. With gratitude. Ashes swirled skyward. A release. Ren's followed. Save one to Alara. Folded in her pocket like a map. You're going. Aren't you? Lila asked that night. Packing Ren's bag with sundresses and sketchpads. To Albany. Ren nodded. Zipping the duffel. Second chances. Or closure. Either way. I walked toward it. The drive was 4 hours of autumn glory. Hudson Valley ablaze in reds and golds. Radio crooning Springsteen anthems of blue-collar dreams. Ren's leg throbbed in rhythm. A reminder of fires crossed. Albany greeted with city hum. Brick row houses. Leaf-choked sidewalks. The Arts Council a converted warehouse buzzing with exhibits. Alara was in the lobby. Curating a show on hidden narratives. Canvases of shadowed figures. Lovers veiled in metaphor. She turned at the door chime. Hazel eyes widening joy. Fear. Hope crashing like waves. Ren, she breathed. Crossing the space in 3 strides. Stopping short. You look. Like you walked through hell and came out glowing. Ren's laugh was rusty. Something like that. Legs a souvenir. Alara's gaze dropped. Then up. Tracing soot scars invisible. I heard. Called Lila. Anonymously. Wanted to come. But you let me burn alone. Ren's voice even. An artist's critique. Again. Alara flinched. Nodding. I did. Thought space was mercy. Turns out it was fear. Mine. She gestured to the exhibit. This all of it inspired by you. The letters you sent. I couldn't let go. They wandered the galleries. Words weaving tentative. Alara's new life. Teaching workshops. dating no one, haunted by Milford's ghosts. Wren's tales of family fractures mended. The box's revelations. Dad was like us, she said, pausing at a painting of two women by a river, hands almost touching. Hid it. But now, he's out. Proud. Even. Alara's hand brushed hers, electric. Familiar. And you? Out. Wren met her eyes. To them. Yes. To me? Always was. The touch lingered, evolving to fingers laced. A bridge rebuilt plank by plank. Dinner followed. A hole-in-the-wall Italian joint. Chianti flowing like confessions. Laughter returned, Alara's champagne bubble. Wren's dry spark. Under the table. Knees touched. Intentional. I love you, Alara said over tiramisu. Voice steady. Not the idea. You scars. Fire. All. Wren's heart stuttered. But she leaned in. Prove it. No half measures. They proved it that night. In Alara's loft overlooking the Capitol dome, slow. Reverent. Bodies mapping old maps anew. Dawn found them tangled. Wren's head on Alara's chest. Heartbeat a lullaby. Stay, Alara whispered. Wren smiled into skin. For now. Milford rebuilds without me for a bit. Homecoming was a Harper spectacle. The Victorian reborn. Porch swing creaking under fresh paint. Attic skylights framing stars. Lila's design class project. Murals on the walls. Vines and flames intertwining. Beatrice's welcome dinner. Pot roast and pride flags on the table. Subtle but there. Harlan's toast. To secrets shared. And fires survived. Wren arrived with Alara, hand in hand. No hiding. Gas. Then hugs. Beatrice's tears joyful. Lila's whoop echoing. Harlan's nod gruff but warm. Welcome. Alara. Heard you make a mean hot chocolate. Over pie. Stories spilled. Ellie's memory honored in a garden plaque. Lila's coming out to friends by. She clarified. Labels are for jars. Tom even showed. Toasting to messy loves. Later. On the swing. Wren and Alara swayed. Milford's lights twinkling like fireflies unbound. Worth the burn? Alara asked. Wren kissed her temple. Every scorch. We emerged. Months wove on. Wren splitting time. Her illustrations syndicated in CityMax. Lesbian lives in vivid ink. Alara's exhibit toured. Ashes to authenticity. Lila dated a barista with tattoos. Harlan volunteered at the LGBTQ Center. Beatrice's teas now rainbow-themed. The family, once a cage, became a hearth warm, wide. One crisp December eve, snow dusting the oak's new shoots, Wren proposed under the willow at the fairgrounds. Not ring, but sketch them. Eternal. Hands aflame but unburned. Walk into my fire, she asked. Alara's yes was a vow, sealed with salt and sugar. In Milford, where rivers carve canyons and secrets once drowned, the Harpers stood, speechless no more, but singing.